Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video on the channel. Inside of today's video, I'm going to give you guys a complete ultimate guide for season 33 in ranked servers. No modifiers this season. Balance changes were only a week ago, so I feel like I've got the meta pretty knocked down right now, and hopefully with these guides and a cheat sheet for every single map and mode, you guys can get towards masters as quickly as possible. So I appreciate all you guys' support on these, because these literally take me days and days to complete. So without further ado, let's jump into bounty. So starting off with Canal, Grande. Here your picks on the screen right here. So Canal, Grande, especially since the introduction of Juju and Eve with a hypercharge, a lot of it is just water walking brawlers, so those are going to be the ones that are going to be way better than the rest. You know, even RT with the legs, that ability to broke with him, but he's just still really good on Canal, Grande. And then of course throwers are always pretty good in the mix as well, and of course late pick tanks as well. So you end up seeing quite a messy draft in Canal Grande a lot of the times, because your generic snipers aren't actually that good, because they can get pressured really easily. Because if you get some positioning in the grass with a thrower or a tank, you can literally get control of the entire map. So just bear that in mind. It's usually good to have a brawler that's really good at picking up the blue star as well in the middle. So whether that's Carl with flying hook, whether that's just a water walking brawler for example, or whether that's a tank that can quickly go and get it, that's always going to be good. So again, you kind of want a mixture of everything in your composition. You want a brawler that's kind of good at everything, that can clean up the mess. So whether that's like a Jean, whether that's Angela in the middle, whether that's like a Janet, Penny, something like that. Then you kind of want a thrower that's not really going to get countered by aggro. So maybe that's Larry, maybe that's Barley, maybe that's Willow, etc. Then you want to tackle something aggressive yourself. So now moving on to Hideout. So look at the best compositions and picks on your screen right here. So in terms of the best three picks, absolutely Jean, Juju, and Gus. Juju's just good at everything. Jean's really good at knockout and bounty, because he's just not really countered in draft right now. And then Gus with the damage buff, insane. And then other picks as well. RT is just really good. Even though other snipers sometimes can have a good matchup, he still has a lot of HP. He can get a lot of positioning on the map, and he's one of the few snipers that can counter aggressive brawlers as well. So that's why RT is so good in draft right now. Some sleeper picks people always forget about, as usual. Pearl again. Pearl is insane right now in the bounty and knockout meta. She's seeming to just get better every meta for some reason. So again, insane in Hideout. People just don't understand it. Beetles going to be really good, because again, you can switch over to the grounded star power if there's some assassins. You've also got the traps to confirm kills, etc. Nani's going to be a good counter pick later on in the draft against multiple snipers, which you see a lot of the time. Throwers are only good later on in the draft, because if there's a literally like one wall breaker, so whether that be Brock or Piper even, throwers can be very vulnerable once a couple of walls are opened up. Again, later on in the draft, I wouldn't actually be scared of too much, maybe except for like Daryl, maybe Mortis. Those are the only ones you have to worry about, because even on this map, you can counter the assassins, because it opens up really quickly with one wall breaker. So now moving on to Shooting Star here, your best picks on the screen right here. So the Shooting Star meta, I think the thing that's only really changed for me is that Angelo's quickly becoming one of the best snipers in the game again. He's just so good on a map like this, because he can just peek in and out of that kind of mid area where the water is, just be really annoying. Yeah, he's just hard to take down. Juju as well, she can just easily pinch lanes with the range as a grass in the middle, and just the ultimate thrower. And again, Tick's just so good at positioning. In terms of other picks, again, like Jean's just good into everything. Not really a lot that fully counters him, and once he gets his pull, it's just really easy for him to confirm kills. And then of course you can just constantly chip the opponents back. With Jean, you're not really going to get a lot of kills, but it's just always making the opponents weak and stopping them from regenerating their health. So don't just spam out all three attacks at once. Just kind of zone them all the way backwards. Gus is really good at confirming kills, overall getting pressure on his lane as well. Piper with a gadget confirming kills. Belle with her traps. Byron can just be good as like a sniper that can support his teammates pushing up. So whether you want to support like a Pearl pushing up, a Max pushing up, an RT pushing up, something like that. Carl can be really good if you're skilled, because you can collect the blue star really easily, and you can counter other snipers with flying hook and his protective turret star power. In terms of other picks that are pretty skillful, Gray in the middle to counter those throwers with the hypercharge recently as well, pretty good. Melody as well, recent addition to the Shooting Star meta, but again, you've got to be pretty skilled. Leon can be a sneaky late pick. And in terms of sixth picks, again, it's not really too much to worry about in my opinion in Shooting Star. Maybe like throwers, just again, make sure your composition isn't completely vulnerable against throwers. So don't go like 3 sharpshooters, making sure that you've either got a thrower in the middle, or Jean, Gray, Max, something like that that can at least counter throwers. And lastly for Bounty, we have Snake Prairie here, your best picks on the screen right here. So Snake Prairie, of course, is going to play completely different than any other map in the game. So the aim of the game here is either you're just rushing into the opponent's faces with tanks, or you need vision on the opponents. So of course the best picks are going to be bow. You want to use bow with the vision star power, the vision gear, and of course you just want to break open the map as much as possible once you get the lead with your bow mines. Buzz, of course, with the gadget to give you vision for like 12 seconds is just broken. And of course he's a tank, so he can sneak up to your opponents, quickly stun them, run out. Tara, again, she's got the vision gadget, vision gear. Her super can just confirm kills really easily. Jean, vision gear, really good. Rosa with the slow to get vision on the opponents, really good. Sandy is very, very good in Snake Prairie because a lot of people group up, so it's really easy to chain supers. His Sandy super is just so good with the roots and star power, so you can literally push the opponents all the way back into spawn. Really, really good. In terms of other picks, you know, Jackie's going to be really good. Shelly just deletes people up close, so really good here. Artie, when you use the gadget that gives you automatic super, you can just melt through people with a couple of shots. Gale can be good for scouting. Doug is very, very broken on Snake Prairie. A good Doug player will literally win every single matchup. So good because you basically got the easiest way to close the gap on the opponents. That's of course Doug's weakness, so he can cycle through supers really quickly. You've got Frank. Lou can be good if there's multiple tanks that you face it off against. And good late picks that you need to be careful of is Grom with the vision gadget. That's only going to be good when you're not facing off against multiple tanks. And the same goes with Janet. You've got the gadget that gives you the range. You've also got the star power that gives you the vision as well. So some sneaky picks as well. There's a lot to take into consideration here. So now moving on to Dribble, starting off with center stage here. Your best picks on the screen right here. So the center stage meta, I believe, hasn't changed too much. You can see by the best picks. Nita is so underrated in the meta. She's really good on center stage because even her counters she can somewhat manage a lot of the time because she has a lot of HP. Of course, she can be sneaky, and one hyper charge will literally force your opponents all the way back into spawn. And you guys should know it is once you got the opponents back into back in spawning center stage, it's so easy to score. Sandy, again, you got the vision with Rude Sands, and it's just perfect for this map. Surge, still really good in this meta. Rico with the vision gear, reload gear, and just hypercharge broken here. Stu is just so crazy in this meta. A good Stu can get so much pressure. Juju, do I even need to speak about Juju? Some surprising picks here. Otis is becoming really good in the meta. Again, his hypercharge got fixed, so use the vision gear on him, use the fat splatter gadget, really good for pressure. Lou is again a really good pick right now. Use a vision gear on him and he can just cycle so quickly since that reload speed buff. Frank, still Frank, he's insane, especially on center stage. Max is one of the best brawlers in pro play right now. Primo with a recent HP buff, such a good brawler in Dribble. He already was, so I don't know why he was buffed. In terms of later on picks, you know, you can go Penny a bit later on in draft. Janet, she has low DPS, so play her later on in the draft. You've got like Griff to open up the map to counter certain compositions, and of course tanks as late picks are very, very dangerous. So making sure that you've got at least one brawler that has heavy DPS. So talking Surge, Nita can counter tanks, Lou, etc. You need one of those brawlers. So now moving on to Pinball Dreams here, your best picks on your screen right here. So as always, Pinball Dreams is the dream for throwers or last pick in this meta because you can always get the chance to either go throwers down the lane if they haven't got any wall breaks or any aggression. You can go tanks if they've got low DPS. You can just go shade if you haven't got any big DPS brawlers. So there's always so much to consider in Pinball Dreams. So that's why, again, you've got to make sure you got everything covered. So by that I mean you could just go like an okay mid like Gus or Byron that doesn't have the DPS, but if you got one of them, you've got to go a lane brawler that has big DPS like Surge, again like Nita, a typical tank counter, Otis if you go that low DPS mid, or you can go a high DPS mid, I don't know, like B, Rico, something like that, and then you can probably go with a squishier thrower down the lane like Barley, like Larry, etc. Or you can go wall break like Griff to open up the map as much as you want. You can go Maisie in the middle if you're scared of facing off against tanks. Again, in terms of the best picks, you've just got Max, who's just so good at everything, so you see a lot of Max in pro play. Stu's really good because you can go with the wall break gadget if you're up against throwers or just want to open up the map. You've also got the speed zone, which is really good on this map, so you've got that to consider. Again, Primo's really good down the lane. You can switch gadgets to open up the map, etc. Frank is really, really good as well. So yeah, Pinball Dreams, just making sure you've got all bases covered because last pick is so dangerous. So now moving on to Sneaky Field here, your best picks on the screen right here. So I'll quickly say I didn't manage to get gameplay here because I was playing for like 16 hours and didn't manage to get it. Anyways, shouldn't really matter too much. So best picks here, again, Sandy's just become a revelation again in the meta. I think since like Mo and Kenji got nerfed, you've seen a lot more Sandy again. Surge is still really good. Juju's really good, even though she's going to face off against a lot of tanks. She's still really good because she's just so versatile and can still fend off against tanks sometimes. Rico's really good, of course. There's just so many areas to bounce. Vision Gear is still really good. Stu, versatile. Nita, versatile as well. Again, in terms of sleeper picks, Lou is such a sleeper pick in this meta. I'm playing him so much, just so good at everything. And of course, because you're always scared of those late pick tanks, especially on sneaker fields or center stage, Lou's just good for that. And he's still okay in some mid brawlers now since the reload speed buff. So again, he can just absolutely carry and just dominate against those tanks. So you do see a lot of like Draco last pick here, Ash late pick, Kenji, Daryl. So that's why you go with a Lou or something in the middle that can deal with those tanks. So whether you go like the Rico, whether you go like Otis even in the middle, just something like that. Again, down your lane, typically later on in the draft, you want to go the lower DPS brawlers. So you see a lot of throwers late on in the draft, weirdly enough, in sneaky fields, because typically you might see like, again, a Stu, a Surge, Nita, and throwers counter those. So weirdly enough, you do see sometimes them. Again, if there's low DPS brawlers in the draft, tanks are played a lot later on in the draft here. You know, Shade can be played later on here. You see Janet played late on, Penny can play played late on. So the meta is shifting a lot. There's a lot of differences here. So moving on to the final Dribble map, we have a Triple Dribble. Here are your picks on the screen right here. So you can see very thrower heavy, and Triple Dribble, it's kind of like Pinball Dreams, but just even more thrower heaven, because you can play throwers really early on in the draft. So you can see the 3 best brawlers are throwers. Larry, good into tanks still with the star power. You've got Barley, you can just switch over to the sticky syrup gadget and just defend yourself. Juju is Juju. And again, Surge, Stu, Max, the same brawlers, Rico, Nita, Lou becoming really good. Barry's actually a good sleeper pick on this map because you can easily pair that with like a tank and play the tank down the right hand lane where all of those boxes are, and you can get some really good value. And you know, typically people ban the other 3 throwers, so you know, Barry's that good alternative pick, which is pretty slept on. Again, Frank, people underestimate Frank all of the time, and he's very good in the draft meta. People just forget about him. But then you've also got Primo, who's been played a lot in Brawl right now. So again, another brawler that people are forgetting about. And then you've got Amber, who can be played down the left hand lane, Sandy down the right hand lane to Wall Peak. Penny can be really good, but of course only when throwers are banned. Otis can just be good down the left hand side, and if you need that tank counter, pretty good. So I think it's just again like the same old draft. Again, be worried about throwers later on in the draft. So late throwers that are good, like Dynamite, for example, Willow, and then of course tanks. You've got like Mortis to worry about, Daryl, Kenji. So again, you need aggression, but at the same time, you just need a bit of everything. So now moving on to gem grab, starting off with double swoosh here. Your best picks on the screen right here. So again, Sandy is becoming pretty dominant in the draft meta again. Sandy's always been good on double swoosh though, because the good thing about Sandy is that, yeah, you can play Sandy in any 3 lanes. You can play it left, right, or even as a mid. It's been played there for years, really, really good. Again, Juju can be pretty good, although it can be countered in draft on this map. Still, Juju is just Juju, and it's just so annoying. Just a quick division gear, and you should be good here. Jean with a vision gear, again, don't even need to talk about it. Surge is really, really good on this map because you put the speed gear on him, vision gear, and it's just GG. He's just so good against any lane. Penny's really good because not only does she counter Jean with her gadget, the barrel, because Jean can't pull her, you then just got a turret that you can place really safely behind those walls. And of course, if any tank comes up close to you, you've still got the fact that you can shoot with your salty barrel and just pretty much 2-shot any tank that comes into your face. So you've got that as a defensive mechanism because you need that, of course, as a gem carrier. Amber is just the ultimate lane on this map because you can open up the map with your super. You can throw those supers in the middle so the gem carrier can't sneak up. And of course, you can burn down your lane to make it really easy. In terms of late picks, again, you know, Frank's good late pick. Buster's a really good late pick on this map, always has been. Rosa, again, with the slows. Mortis, so you've got to be worried about that. Then your generic lane brawlers. Actually, 2 brawlers that are really, really slept on in this meta in particular. Otis, so good on this map. You saw in World Finals how good he was, but he's still really good right now with the hype charge. Pearl is so good down the left-hand lane. Defensively, you can just sit there with your gem carrier. Anyone wants to push up, well, they're just going to have to face a fully heated up Pearl with a gadget. It's near enough impossible to push into unless you're just constantly aggressive so she can't heat up. You've got Tara with the pets and the hypercharge. Kit weirdly is really good here because what you can do, you play Kit down the left hand lane, and if anyone pushes up, you can jump onto them, and then your gem carry helps you get that kill every single time. So Kit weirdly enough is a good pick. You got Stu that can play lane or mid. Janet, good later on in the draft. Ash, really good on double swoosh. Gray, good as a mid and good paired with a tank. There's a lot in double swoosh, it's really messy. Next up, we have Hard Rock Mine here, your best picks on the screen. So as always, Hard Rock Mine, Rico's going to be your best pick. Juju is Juju, the best brawler in the game right now. And then Max is becoming dominant again in ranked, because the reason why Max is being played right now is because there's not really that many broken brawlers. Even Juju's not completely busted. So that's when Max starts to thrive, because already she was pretty versatile. All the broken brawlers nerfed, makes Max a lot better. Gus, again, really good in the mid. Stu's really good again because you can either play both gadgets depending on who you're facing. So there's always that about him. And Ruffs is really good on this map because, again, normally Rico's banned, so Ruffs just good because he's always going to get damage, open up the map, getting his hypercharge, etc. In terms of this map, late picks can sometimes be good, but very rarely. I mean, just making sure you always have a high DPS brawler in your composition. So as long as you've got like a Surge, Nita, as long as you've got like Lou, maybe even as a mid can be pretty decent. 8-bit, Otis can be pretty good to scout the lane. You've got the likes of Penny as well. Penny's been played so much in Hard Rock Mine right now because, again, you can play Penny as a mid or a lane. And if anybody wants to push into Penny, well, she's got her gadgets to defend herself. And even if she dies, she's going to be working towards that hypercharge. And that's just very toxic on this map. There's so many walls to put that Penny turret behind. Again, later picks, you know, Melody can be good with the hypercharge. Kit can be pretty good. Daryl, any brawler that can get into the grass can always be pretty good. But with Hard Rock Mine, you just need to try and make as many flank plays as possible. So it allows your gem carrier to pick up more gems. Now moving on to last stop here, best picks on the screen right here. So in terms of best picks, again, Juju is Juju. She can go over water. She can snipe people from across the map, snipe the gem carry easily. So one of the best brawlers for sure. Penny is just really good because, again, you can play lane easily right now since the range buff, vision gear, and her turret can be placed in such a toxic spot. Jean can scout lanes easily with the vision gear, and it's really important in last stop to at least get one of those lanes won, because once you win a lane, it's impossible for the opponents to really come back and win it. Essentially on this map, it's so hard. So it's all about that battle of your mid helping pinch. So that's why Jean's really good at pinching. Gus, that's why Piper's used a lot on this map, because she's just so good at pinching out brawlers because she has very high damage. Amber's really good, of course, because you can scout the grass easily. You can burn the grass against those annoying brawlers, so super versatile there. Janet's actually really good on this map because she's got good range. Again, vision gear is really good with her, and just overall really annoying. And last stop, Pearl, again, another sleeper pick because you play the Pearl down the left hand side. Anyone coming towards you, you're going to be fully heated up and you can just melt them down easily. You've got the vision gear as well. Yeah, she's really good. Otis, again, vision gear, decent range, good at fighting out of a spawn trap. So again, you want those brawlers with range, right? Because then you can fight out a spawn trap a lot easier. If you're very limited in range, I don't know, for example, if you use even like a Sandy sometimes, you're going to get pinched a lot of times. It's going to be impossible for you to win back your lane. So again, Tara can be pretty good, but later on in the draft, because she can be really sneaky in the grass with her super. In terms of late picks, I would only really worry about like Lily probably, because Lily can go in and out of the grass easily on this map. So now moving on to Undermine here, your best picks on the screen right here. So this is the only other map where I failed to get any gameplay on. Again, I played for 16 hours and couldn't get this map. But anyways, Undermine is pretty much like a lot of the other gem grab maps, except for this one, again, it's very spawn trap heavy. So once you win that first initial lane engagement, it's very easy to keep it. So again, you've got to bear in mind that you want a bit of both. You want a bit of aggression in the grass, but at the same time, you want a bit of range, because without range, it's impossible to win back your lane once you lose it. So that's why I like the likes of Janet in this meta, because you can easily win back your lane because you've just got really good range in comparison to other lanes. And that's why I really like Amber as well, Otis as well. Some of these brawlers I'm really liking in this meta now. Again, in terms of early picks, Penny's just so good because you can play her lane and mid. That Penny turret is just so annoying to deal with, and you don't really see throwers on this map. Sandy, again, is going to be really good at just overall wall peeking on this map, because it's just really annoying in your lane if you just got Sandy sitting there. The only way to get Sandy out of that position is by a pinch. Gus is just, again, really good. Stu's really good because, again, he's versatile. You're looking for a lot of versatile brawlers in this meta. There's not a ton of brawlers that you just want to abuse because they're broken. It's just versatility at the end of the day. And that's why brawlers like Byron, Max are going to be really good because they're just steady and good against everything. Squeak, good later on in the draft. You've got Piper, that can be a good carry pick. Tara can be pretty good, but only later on in the draft because she can get countered by like Sandy, Janet, Amber, for example. Lou can be pretty decent if you're facing off against multiple aggro brawlers. Rico can be good later on in the draft as well. And late picks, of course, tanks are always going to be good. So now moving on to Heist, starting off with Bridge Too Far here. Best picks on the screen right here. So Unless you've been sleeping on the rock, you know by now Melody is broken in Heist with the Hypercharge. She already was starting to become meta again, and the Hypercharge has just completely broken her, so ban her no matter what. Angelo is just so annoying. I was literally sensing an Angelo meta for a long time now, for like 4 months, and he literally is one of the best brawlers in rank right now. So many good maps for him, and he's just broken on this map. Chuck, again, like, there are ways to counter him, but most of the time just ban him, because it can just be so cheesy, and as long, like, if your teammates don't know how to play against him, he's just going to win the game on his own. Juju's going to be really good because, again, you just got so much going for you, and especially because a lot of water here, the water mode slows for so long, so really good on this map. Eve with the recent Hypercharge, actually really good on Bridge Too Far again. Colt does a lot of damage. In terms of what you want to play a lot of time at Bridge Too Far, again, is those longer range brawlers, because you end up just having those 1v1 down particular lanes. So a lot of it is just down to matchups. You need to just read who you're facing off against at the beginning of the game and try and force the best matchups. So for example, if you're Piper, you want to face off against one of the other snipers, because you'll just win that no matter what with the banana gadget, you know. So you want to normally go like down a Bell lane or Byron lane or Colette lane, something like that. Again, you can go 8-bit for that really big extra damage. So because it's Bridge Too Far, I'd always recommend at least going to brawlers that have like really good damage. So whether that's like, I don't know, a Lola, again, a good sleeper pick. Amber can be a good sleeper pick, because although she gets countered by snipers, she will get a lot of damage on the save. 8-bit, that's why I really like him as well. Piper's one of those snipers that gets a lot of damage in comparison to like Bell, Byron, etc. So just bear that in mind. Next, we have Hot Potato. Here's the best picks on the screen right here. So of course, this plays completely different to the other Heist maps, because it's a very base race heavy map. So when I say that, what I mean is it's just, you can take control out the window, take snipers out of the window, and you just go full on for this Heist safe. And it's all about managing whether you can leave the opponents on a safe where you've got the good defense, because again, you have so many tanks and so much aggression. You've got to bear that in mind, and you don't always want to defend, because if you're always defending, you're probably going to end up losing the game. So having that one, at least one aggressive brawler, maybe two, and then one brawler that's going to be your kind of clean up brawler. So that's why I really like Rico here, because he can just kind of do it all, but most people realize that, and he's banned pretty much all of the time. Colette's a really good brawler in the mid. Of course, you can just clean up easily in the mid, scout easily. Chuck's going to be really good because it's Chuck. He does everything. Berry is so underrated on Hot Potato. Of course, he's got the Hypercharge recently, but just, you know, one of his gadgets on a safe deals 20%, so he's always got that going for him. Barley, again, can pretty much do everything. Larry can pretty much do everything. Nita, again, is that brawler that can be really good defensively and then go offensively with her super, so that's why she's really good. Primo, again, can be that cleanup brawler, but then can get a lot of damage on the safe. Buzz, really good for aggression. Cole's really good for aggression, because you can either go flying hook to just go up the map and force the opponents to try and pinch you out, or of course you can go the fire gadget to deal insane damage. Crow's really good, because even if he sometimes struggles to defend with his low DPS, he can build up his Hypercharge easily against the Chucks, against, I don't know, against the tanks, and then he can Hypercharge and deal 50% safe damage easily. Jessie, again, may struggle sometimes, but once she gets the Hypercharge super, can be really good. Just bear in mind, don't go controlling this map, you need aggression. So next we have Kaboom Canyon. Here, your best picks on the screen. So I realized with Kaboom Canyon, it plays very similar to Safe Zone. You've got a lot of similar brawlers, so bear that in mind with drafts. So again, Melody, the best brawler hands down. Angelo, one of the best ranked brawlers hands down. And then of course Chuck is Chuck. Juju's going to be really good, although you need to be a good Juju to make it work on this map. At the same time, like, she can be so cheesy. You can just gadget in and out, being invisible. Yeah, it's Juju. You can shoot from behind that wall and get damage on the safe. Really good. Colt gets a lot of damage on the safe. Colette, although good players can counter Colette on this map, a lot of the time it's just not worth it. I end up banning it out a lot of times as well, because you just need one Hypercharge super to change the game. Eve is returning to the meta again because of that Hypercharge. You can just clean up easily with Eve, and then the Hypercharge can get a lot of pressure, and all you need is that one Hypercharge super to force the opponents all the way back into spawn. You get map control, and you can just end up getting a lot of safe damage. Again, I always recommend probably having two brawlers that can deal at least some decent damage to the safe. So that's why, again, in draft, I love going the likes of Lola and Amber, because they can just always get good pressure down the lane, and then just one bit of damage on the safe can be all it takes to win the game. Belle's going to be that good cleanup brawler that's just good against everything, good at getting control, good at getting aggression on the safe. Once she starts hitting the safe, it can just start bouncing and annoying the opponents. 8-bit, again, it can be that good cleanup brawler, and then once you get one break onto the safe, just delete the high safe. You know, Gale's still going to be good on this map with a jump pad in the middle. Carl's going to be good because you can constantly gadget up the map and force the opponents to pinch you out. Crow can be always good, but beware of those snipers that counter you. Brock can be good to open up the map with that recent HP buff as well. He's just been a little bit better. And there's not really any good late picks other than Daryl and Nanny on this map. So now moving on to Safe Zone here, best picks on the screen right here. So I'm unsure if really anything changes in terms of the meta through both of these maps. I think the only thing that really changes is the last picks, to be honest. Like you can go Mandy last pick to counter other snipers, or Grom, but that's just really reaching. I don't really see too much of him. But yeah, anyways, again, Safe Zone just works kind of the same. You want to put one brawler in the mid, of course. That's going to be your sniper or longer range brawler. So the likes of like Piper, Belle, even Lola can be good in that middle engagement. And then down the left hand side, you kind of want someone that can get some decent safe damage sometimes. So maybe like a Colt, maybe like Lola, maybe something like that. Penny can be really annoying with the turret down that left hand side, because if you're forced to try, like normally the aggressive brawler goes down the right hand side, right? So if that aggressive brawler is facing Penny, they're always going to feed her turret. So then her turret, once she gets the kill and you can pinch, you can put that turret down the left hand side and then it can shoot the safe. It's just really annoying. Penny's so good on this map. And then of course again, you've got Crow. He may suck for the entire game, but once he gets his hype charge, can just win you the game easily. Same goes with 8-bit as well. And the brawlers that I think are really good sleeper picks here. Again, like Ruffs can be a good sleeper pick because you can always just like pinch down that left hand side. Again, it's like Penny. They're going to be pushing into you. You can play defensive and then you can get your super break, open a wall, hyper charge, etc. And again, in terms of late picks, there's not really a lot to worry about other than Daryl. So now moving on to Hot Zone, starting off with Dueling Beetles here, your best picks on the screen right here. So of course with Dueling Beetles, there's a lot of walls. So that's where a lot of like control brawlers can hide behind easily. A lot of throwers, a lot of brawlers like Penny and Jesse can hide their turrets. Stu with his turret, for example, can be really toxic. That's why Larry is really annoying in the draft, because he's got unbreakable walls where he can just sit behind, and then of course his super can defend himself against tanks. Lou is returning to the Hot Zone meta and one of the best brawlers easily inside of Hot Zone. So good. And of course the reload speeds allowing him to build up supers more easier. Surge is good, I would say, but you got to bear in mind that he can get countered by smart players, but he's just really good in the Hot Zone still. Again, that's why Max is becoming really good, because he can just help brawlers like Surge or other brawlers be aggressive on a map. Gus can be really good, but do be careful. He just lacked a DPS, so do pair that with a high DPS brawler. You've seen the return of Poco in the meta a little bit here, especially to counter Lou. You can just go with that because you've got protective tunes, or just overall you pair it with like Stu or just at least a tank or something. And he's returning to the meta a bit just because of that. Barley again, just like Larry, really good. Frank has a lot of HP, so can easily get so much time, and he can just press up to the walls, especially towards the enemy walls, and it's going to take forever to pinch him out because he has such a high amount of HP. Gale can be pretty good still on this map because he has a decent amount of HP. He can push forward pretty easily. Byron can be really good because he can pinch really easily, and his super can allow him to win back the middle with ease. Cordelius can be really good again at just destroying those tanks and whatever else, and just jumping over the walls and being annoying. Good late picks. You got the likes of Dynamite, got the likes of Ash, and Draco can surprisingly good late on. So next we have Open Business here, your best picks on the screen right here. So again, with Open Business, you can get really screwed over by those throwers. You can get screwed over by those tanks. It's a very topsy-turvy draft, but you do see the common theme again of the likes of Lou being really good in Hot Zone, Penny being really annoying, Stu being really annoying, Surge being literally the same Hot Zone brawlers are very annoying. But again, you have got this cheesy strategy that you can go with on Open Business, whether it's a Poco or a Berry. You pair that with like a Frank or a Meg or a Bust, or just anything with a lot of HP, and you're going to be cycling loads of Berry supers. You're going to be, getting a lot of pressure with a lot of Poco supers, etc. So again, making sure you've got everything covered, because you don't want to leave your head like going 3 brawlers with low DPS. I don't know, like Stu, Poco, and I don't know, something low DPS again, and then the opponent just goes to a couple of tanks and they can just constantly get on the zone time and time again. Other good picks, again, Janet later on in the draft, Sandy later on in the draft. Grey can be good, but only if you've got, you paired in a duo, and then you go Grey, and then like a tank like Jackie, Frank, or something like that, then it can be very dangerous. But other than that, it's just the same old Open Business. Next up for Parallel Plays, here are your best picks on the screen right here. So of course, always Parallel Plays. RT is going to be really good because you've got the gadget that allows you to go into your super form instantly, so he can defend that left zone really easily. Other good defensive left zone brawlers, you've got throwers, so whether that's going to be a Larry, Barley, or Juju, going to be really hard to take them on. You've also got Surge that can just be good at everything. Melody can be so good offensively with the hypercharge, so bear that in mind. Penny again can be really annoying because of that turret, and she can just be good defensively, and then once she's like pinched and got a kill, turret to go offensively. To actually, like, that turret has so much control on this map. It can snipe people like crazy, so very good on this map. Again, brawlers like Shader can be really good on this map because, of course, his main attack can go through that unbreakable wall, so he can be good offensively, defensively. For that reason, Frank, of course, can be good at high amount of HP, but again, a common theme here is making sure that you've got a good defensive brawler, so whether that's high DPS down the left or like a thrower, then you just want one brawler that has some decent range, so whether that's like a Stu, Melody, Penny, Gus, Byron, Lou, Amber in the middle to just help pinch and then push up to that right hand zone, where the right hand zone is going to be a more aggressive brawler, so whether that's like Kenji, Sam, Mo, I don't know, Ash, Hank, just something aggressive, Daryl, Chuck. There's a lot to go. That's just a common theme in parallel plays. And then finally for Hot Zone, we have Ring of Fire here, best picks on the screen. So again, Lou pretty much is the best role on this map because, of course, his super covers the whole zone, and he's just so good in Hot Zone right now. And you've got, of course, Juju. Juju can go over the water. She can snipe far back. She can do everything. She can be aggressive. Penny, again, there's just so many spots to put her turret. So good in Hot Zone right now. Belly's going to be very good on this map because, of course, you've got the ability to just create a lot of pressure with her main attack, and then you've got the gadget to confirm slows onto people. And then if for whatever reason your opponents go super aggro brawlers, you've got Grounded to help you out with that. Gus can be really good if like Bell is banned, for example. He can just be good overall because it's so easy to hit his shots, so easy to pair your super with anything aggressive because your teammates are always going to be, of course, ahead of you trying to get that zone percentage. In terms of other good brawlers, Angela really good at pinching. You've got Stu with the turret. You've got Byron really good at healing and just overall support. Again, you need one brawler that can kind of float and do everything. So by that I mean like Amber can just kind of float around the map, clean up, get pressure with super, etc. You've got likes of Ruffs, again, can be really annoying on this map because he can easily, like, of course the people are going to be coming towards you, right? So that's why Ruffs, it's just so easy to get supers with because you're going to always be getting damage. Again, brawlers like Otis can be pretty good because you're going to be facing off against some aggro sometimes. Eve can be really good with the hypercharge. Janet can be really good just being annoying, overall just getting pressure down the lane. So you always want one brawler as well that's kind of just being annoying, trying to get in behind enemy lines. So whether that's like Kenji, whether that's like Janet trying to be pretty annoying, whether that's the Surge trying to get in the grass, whether that's like a late pick Draco, Daryl, Ash, something like that. So now moving on to Knockout, starting off with Bell's Rock here, your best picks on the screen right here. So as always with Knockout, it is again the same type of brawlers. You know, Jean's always a safe pair of hands. Tick is just Tick. He's the best thrower pretty much on Knockout. Outranges all of them and still okay into tanks with his super. Gus, again, the best sniper right now in Knockout, just not much really counters him. Piper's still going to be good because at least she can switch gadgets, and then all you need is one tap and a gadget onto most brawlers and you can just get kills easily. Artie is really good on Bell's Rock because even against snipers, because he has so much HP, he can just push all the way into mid and then just sit behind those walls and just get pressure, because of course in Knockout, if you are inside their half, you know the gas is going to close in and you're always going to just win just from positioning alone. So that's why RT is really good. Rico, again, really good because he can stop you from getting spawn trapped. He can create pressure with his shots just so easily. In terms of late picks here, really dangerous ones. Kit, of course, paired with a tank, but just Kit in general can be just really good. Grom can be pretty good late on if you're facing off against squishy brawlers. Miko facing off against squishy brawlers. Everyone forgets about Daryl in Knockout as always. In terms of good lane brawlers, you know, Pearl, again, really good at Knockout. Really easy to confirm kills with a gadget. Brock can be good to open up the map. You know, Gray again is returning to the Knockout meta with his hypercharge. And then you've got the same old, you know, Penny can be good later on. Buster, good Buster players can really do their magic here. And then Larry and Barley later on in the draft, especially Barley with the heal gadgets, can be pretty toxic. So now moving on to Flare and Phoenix, here your best picks on the screen right here. So what I always say is this map plays very similar to Goldarm Gulch, well the brawler picks are anyways. But this map, basically you want two people in the middle and then one person down the left. That one person down the left is typically a thrower. But again, if you are facing off, I don't know, against an invis brawler or an aggressive brawler, then you probably don't want to put that thrower down the left. Then you probably just want to all group up or at least have someone next to you, because else they're just going to get a free kill. So do bear that in mind. But anyways, Juju again is just insane. The grass is going to help her just get so many kills. You know, she can go invisible really easily with a gadget. Artie, Again, he's going to be good late on in the game because he has a lot of HP. So when it's in the final engagement, that can really help him. But overall, just good because you don't get countered against those good late picks. Gus again, Gus, Angelo, Piper, do I even need to explain? Buster's really good on this map because normally you send 2 people in that middle section down the right. So Buster's always going to get his super automatically, and then his super can literally cover the entirety of the mid, push them all the way back. You know, he's really good on this map. Penny again, if there's no throwers or just good later on in draft. Pearl again, so easy for her to build up the heat. Tick again, really good. Mandy can be good against other snipers. Again, I think you've always got to have a throw in your composition at least, or at least something that can deal with a throw. So whether you go throw yourself like Barley, Tick, Sprout, Juju, etc., or whether you go something aggressive as a late pick into that, so like a Daryl, like a Kenji, like a Kit. That's just all it is in Knockout. So the same completely applies on Goldarm Gulch as well. Of course, this map's played a little bit differently. So the thing I will say about this map, sometimes you want to opt to try and switch your lane strategy. So sometimes you might want to try and sneak down the right-hand side. Sometimes you might just want to all sit in a bush and just try and creep up on the opponents. You know, if you've got like a sniper that can 2-tap, whether you've got like a tank that can quickly sneak in and get some kills, just always be wary of that as well. So again, always check your left-hand lane bushes. That's typically what people do. They just go all down the left-hand lane and then just check the bushes, make sure no one's there. And then it's normally just a pinch left versus right. So bear that in mind. So that's why I really like brawlers like Buster here, because again, you're going to do a lot of grouping up on this map. So he's going to get his super automatically very easily. Angelo is going to be really good because he can just move all around the map. So he's not going to get pinched really easily, and he can easily apply pressure as well, of course, with that trait. Other brawlers I really like on this map. Sprout I really like on this map. Again, Penny I really like because people group up a lot, so you can get a lot of chaining on this map, and you can just get pressure through that, of course. Again, Tick going to be really good. Gray, really good counter to those snipers and also to those throwers. And you've got Ruko that can be good later on in the draft. There's not really many good late picks to be like worried about other than Daryl. So moving on to the final map, we have Out in the Open here. Your best picks on the screen right here. So Jean, of course, really good here because one attack can just scout the grass easily with the vision gear. Juju is Juju. Angelo, again, can just stay down that left-hand lane with ease and just always make sure no one is pushing up, and it's just really hard to kill. Again, RC, just good at everything. Brock's really good because all you need is that one wall break gadget. You break your back wall, and then that means that you have like 3 different places you can escape the opponents from rather than 2. Because on Out in the Open, essentially you can lose the round just by your opponents getting complete mid control, because if they force you back in your spawn, you only have 2 really ways you can get out of spawn, and it's just easy for them to get kills onto you. So as soon as you go into your spawn, you know it's over, right? But if you have a wall break that can break open that mid section, you're never going to get spawn trapped. So that's why Brock's really good. And of course, the HP buff has allowed him to be good on this map again. And then again, Piper, you know, there's going to be Piper always kind of going around in the bush with ambush. She can 2-tap so many people. Pearl, again, she's going to be just floating in that mid bush. And as soon as someone just gets within her range, she can just gadget and kill them with ease. Eve, again, you always want that brawler that's not allowing you to get pushed back into spawns, whether that's Angelo, whether that's an Eve down the left, whether that's Brock opening it up. You want someone like that always. Pearl. And then you've got, of course, Mandy can be really good against other snipers. Gray can be good if you go aggressively on the right-hand lane. You know, one gadget can easily confirm kills. Buster, again, a good Buster play can really be a menace on this map. And again, you don't really have to be that worried about last picks here. You know, sometimes the opponent might go like Meg or something like that, where Lou is good counter pick towards that. So that's why I've got him as 6th pick. Again, Daryl can be good later on the draft. You know, Lola can just be good against everything. That's why I see Lola in draft quite often. But anyways, that's going to be it for today's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you enjoyed my waffling and my thought process throughout this. It did take a long time, like 2 days to do, so I really appreciate you guys' support on this. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.